Hi everyone, welcome back to this video. You recognize this model in Unity in the last video where I sort of exported this from Blender. So I stopped at the stage of actually exporting the models into Unity and then visualize it like this. But I've sort of realized that I need to go back to Blender and ensure that I have the right model that I'm exporting. This is the model in Blender, and there seem to be some things not shown in there, hidden. They're probably hidden with the H key. You just need to use the Alt H to make them visible. But ultimately, this model will be the one we'll be using in the Unity application. If you remember, what the plan is to actually remodel the whole of this and then export them into Unity. So I've sort of modeled a few things in the last videos. If you've watched the video, and then I sort of put the holes on the sides as well. So if you go back to the Unity application, this is what it looks like, but I need to sort of verify that this model is exactly what's in the Blender application as well. So I'll go into the scene and look at the name of this particular the bowl and see if I have it on the prefab. No, I think I have it on the mesh. I need to drag it into the prefab. So I'll drag it into the prefab to create the prefab. And then I need to drag the ship body hull as well. But what I think I'll do is to create an empty that will serve as the primary root of the entire ship. So that'll be ship parent, so that every model I insert will be parented to that, and the transforms will be reset to 0. So I'll drag this into the parent ship parent empty and sort of see where it's located. So it seems like the ship parent empty position is actually external outside the ship itself. So I'll also reset the ship parent empty and sort of place those models elsewhere. So I'll reset both models. I'll drag this out and click reset, and same goes for a ship body hull, reset, and it's all placed them at the right place. But this ship, the bow top deck seems to be missing. Not sure where it's gone. If I check on that, it's not there. It seems to be actually empty. So I'll probably, I think there's something wrong. So I'll probably delete that and go into the prefab and delete that as well. And then check the mesh and probably delete that from the mesh. So I think I need to do some work with Blender, because the intention is to actually make sure that I synchronize all the models from Blender and being able to insert them into Unity. So I'll go into Blender. Yeah, so I'm going to delete these two. I sort of kept them there just in case I want to use them. I'll delete them. Click the bowl, and we'll probably do the railings in a separate video coming up soon. So I'll look at the bowl and so try to export that. So what I'll do is go into Explorer and try to locate where the folder of the Unity applications mesh is. Then I'll copy the link and go back into Blender, and then I can do an export of this model. First of all, I'll check the transforms, make sure it's all applied, and I'll go to File, Export, and FBX, and then paste in the mesh location. I'll probably add a reference so I can always locate it, rename it to Titanic mesh. I'll probably make it new Titanic mesh. Probably prefer lowercase anyway, so I'll just change that to new underscore Titanic underscore mesh, and I'll move that upwards. Yeah, so I can always refer. I'll just delete the ones I have in there. They must have been for some other past projects or past recordings, so I'll delete those. So I can always go back to that reference point, that mesh point. So now I'll rename this. So I'm sure what it is, bow underscore deck underscore front, and then make sure click on apply transform and mesh, and then selected object and export to Unity. So if you go into Unity and check the model, so drag that into ship parent, and it's so small, so that's a problem with the sizing. And that's what I want to avoid. I want to be able to export the models directly from Unity and have them just snap to the right position in the application. Export them from Blender rather. So that's how small it is. That means we have a problem with the sizing. So we need to go into Unity. I'll see our character standing in there in the mist. So we need to go into Blender and ensure that we have the right size. So I'm just gonna delete that, and then we'll go into Blender. Back in Blender, I need to check that the size and transforms are right, and whether we actually have the right ship model. So I'm going to export the hull itself and see how it compares with what we have in Unity. We'll select the hull, give it a right name, probably add main in there because we're going to eventually use this hull instead. And then that goes to Unity. Then we need to open it up in Unity and drag that into the ship parent, and that's how small it is. So there's a problem, there's a difference in size that we need to be sure of. I'd rather we have a real life size for a ship so that we don't have to be comparing and contrasting sizes. So I think I'll need to fix this first of all in Blender and then have it set to, so well, let's reset this to 0, seems the transform is not set, and probably we'll delete the larger one because we're not going to work with that anyway. But I'm going to delete this as well because eventually we need to be sure that, well, ultimately I don't have to delete it because when we update it in Blender it's just going to overwrite it. So back in Blender, what I'm going to do is actually start to check certain parts of the ship. So I'll sort of unhide a few things. So that's the enclosure it used to be in. That's the plan to have in that enclosure. And then I'm going to sort of check a few details on the ship. So what I'll do next is actually check the model in Blender to be sure that I have the right model in place. And what I've had to do offline is to go check my Blender files for the Titanic. I see I have I saw I have several copies. So what I've done is to sort of going to normalize this to be the exact size we need for the Titanic model. And so if I go back to the Blender model, we'll see if I can export items from there so I can replace what we have in Unity. I'm probably going to go with the bow first